Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Pipebomb Sessions. This week, man, we're going to be recapping a few things, talking about some new storylines that got made, and also, don't forget to tune in right till the end, guys, because spoiler alert, I'll be talking about what happens on this week's Friday night Smackdown, since they already went ahead and recorded it, and your boy got some interesting results that came out of it. But we won't touch base on that till then. I ain't trying to ruin anybody's day in case they want to tune in on July 4th. Happy 4th of July week, guys. So, let's start off by recapping Night of Champions. And for those of you who missed this Saudi show, I have to admit, man, this Saudi show was actually more lit than even I expected. Some of the things on there, I was like, okay, this is gonna be good, but how good is it really gonna be? And long and behold, damn, the Saudi show ended up being pretty freaking great, actually, in my opinion, at least. And on top of that, one thing that happened was, simply enough, we got the new King of the Ring, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Cody was doing some very, very interesting things during that match. I feel like even Wade Barrett touched base on it, that we're seeing a more aggressive, a more eyebrow raise, heelish Cody during that match. Very interesting. Is there something going on that we don't know about, possibly? And see Cody beat him. He's saying he's gonna come and take the ball back. That was a very, very interesting promo. I thought it was more of a neutral-sided, not baby-faced related more so, and not heelish either. So I was like, not really sure how this match is, or how the match against, the next guy who retained the title later in the night, John Cena, is gonna go. But before I get into how Cena retained that title, I thought it was interesting with Cody. I want to keep an eye on him going forward. I don't know. Maybe he's just messing with us. Maybe not. I know he did say recently on that Kay Adams show that, his babyface run is coming to an end. But what does that really mean? Is it coming to an end immediately? Or more so like a year or 2 years, Very big difference, I would say. Another great matchup, I thought, surprisingly enough, was the Rhea and Raquel street fight match. Rhea won that match, and let me tell you, they really, really, really had a wild day, in the sense that Rhea set up a table, got on top of the table, and then delivered the riptide from up there, which I was like, yo, I'm surprised she got the balance while she was standing up there, but hey, that was pretty dope. That was a pretty cool look, I would say. And I know everybody's on my side when they say, thank God Saudi doesn't allow any other sponsorships but their own, because we finally did not see the Slim Jim tables for once. I feel like we were only seeing those because TKO was like, hey, we got this sponsorship, so I want to see a table spot every freaking week at this point. Okay, guys, that's cool. Everybody loves a table spot every week, but for God's sake, don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. People are freaking tired of it. I don't think the crowd will get tired of it, but it's like, bruh, what are you guys doing? Stop trying to make this all about the money and make it about the stories. I know Triple H, how to make a great story. Trust me, man. I saw your stories even before this whole situation started, and that was awesome. Like, let me tell you, I know for a fact that you'll be doing fine in that sense. Another thing, and I thought that was interesting, was the Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn match. See, Kross lost. However, I found it funny that Kross took about, 5-6 back bumps almost immediately into that match. I found that hilarious, because clearly he's like, yo, you guys think I don't take bumps? What kind of rumors are you guys just making up at this point? Like, he's tired of hearing the dumb rumors and things like that. He's even said it, and he's like, screw this. And someone who got screwed was Jacob Fatu out of his U.S. title. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Solo on becoming the new U.S. champ after he got the help of not only his boy JC Mateo, of course, but the return of the great one, Tonga Loa, plus the debut on TV for everyone and the newest member of his bloodline, Hikuleo, otherwise known as Tala Tonga. I thought that's a great addition. We saw him come out, and boom, U.S. title is now around Solo. I honestly was on the boat that Solo would not win it just yet. I had a feeling he may, but I was really 50-50 after talking to people like, yeah, Fatu's reign has been pretty interesting. I like Fatu with the title. It makes him like kind of more of a werewolf, you know what I mean? More of an interesting character in that sense. But hey, I'll take it all day. We also crowned the Queen of the Ring, of course. The Queen of the Ring, congratulations to Jade Cargill. You know, personally wasn't my pick. I wanted Asuka to win, so then we could get an Asuka versus Io Sky matchup at SummerSlam, which I thought would have been fire, personally. But hey, I'll take the Jade and Tiffy matchup. I don't mind it. I don't think Jade walks out, regardless of SummerSlam, with that title, because Naomi's going to cash in on her. I think this is all leading up to Naomi cashing on Jade, continue their feud out a little bit. Maybe Jade gets the title back, maybe she doesn't. Eventually, once Bianca's cleared and good to go, she's gonna insert herself back into this storyline. We're really just waiting on her to get back in here to make it really like, okay, now where are we going with this? So, you know, let's tune in, let's see. And speaking of tuning in and seeing, I think a lot of people were ready for their last dance. CM Punk versus the undisputed champ, John Cena. And let me tell you, Cena was showing a lot of, like, just different moments, I feel like, of him doubting his heel ways. Him doubting everything he's been preaching and saying. And I found that very, very off and weird. Because it's like, I don't get it, Cena. Are you definitely going to be turning back into a face? Or are you not going to turn back into a face? And that's what really just throws me off. Man, Rollins came out at one point after, of course, the ref got taken out. So Punk is trying to call for another ref. Rollins comes out instead of Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. And, you know, they kind of brawl type of situation. And Rollins calls out a ref. Of course, it's the vet, Charles Robinson. He gets freaking shoulder tackled by John Cena. Cena's like, what are you doing, bro? Like, this ain't your business. As Rollins like, this is my business. I mean, does have a good point. He is the Money in the Bank briefcase holder. Any world champion's his business at this point. So, well, Rollins takes a freaking attitude adjustment. And then, you know, he gives Bronson Reed at one point an attitude adjustment. Followed by, you know, Rollins again accosting Punk the matchup, because even after Cena and Punk kind of shook hand, Cena tried low blowing him. Punk caught it though. He saw it coming, he caught it. And boom, Rollins of course interferes, and Cena takes the win very quickly, and boom, that's that. We see Rollins kind of thwart CM Punk's plans of becoming champion. We see Cena thwart Rollins' plans of cashing in on him for the title. And boom, that was pretty much the end of Night of Champions. I thought it was a very interesting ending. It's more so all about how Cena seems to be having doubts, just creep in, just different things happening with him. I feel like he himself doesn't even know what side he's truly on. And slowly we're seeing this lead up. I don't know, guys. My bold prediction right now is we're getting a double turn at SummerSlam between Cody and Cena. maybe Cody uses, Cena's ways to win his title back, and Cena, that's how he turns back into a face. Cena's not retiring as a heel. We know that. And I could see him, becoming a face, losing the title, and getting back in it. Maybe he loses that title, and at some point down the line, he gets an IC title match, so that he become the Grand Slam champ. I feel like that's really what he's missing. So we need to get him that, please, if we can, if it's possible. You know what I mean? So let's see what happens in that sense. Now let's pivot into Raw. What happened on Raw was Rhea Ripley kicks it off, celebrating her win, says what's next for her, and, she's on top of her game, brings Io out. Io says that she wants to face the best of the best, so she challenges Rhea for the world title match, her world title, at the Evolution 2 pay-per-view happening in a couple weeks. Now, I find it interesting, they kind of switched it up on us, where they had Io challenge her. Okay, cool. I guess I get it. We're just running this back again, though. Like, Io hasn't defended her title since Mania. And you're telling me that we're just going to run it back again with Io and Rhea? I swear to God, if Rio just takes the title back, like, what was the point of even giving Io the title? Like, was she just supposed to keep it warm for Rhea? I don't get it. I hope we don't do my girl Io Sky dirty here. Hopefully she retains, and this still does lead up, crossing my fingers, to the Io versus Asuka match for SummerSlam. I really do hope so. Because, that match for the title, for the gold, is going to be fabulous. Now, speaking of gold, the Judgment Day now hold gold all around again, because JD McDonough and Finn Balor, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I said Finn Balor, picked up a W and is now Raw Tag Team Champs once again. Suddenly, you see the Judgment Day holding all gold. You know what I'm saying? Even though they're missing their girl Liv, we saw that Balor gave the suggestion, hey, why don't you make Roxy the champ for now? Why strip Raquel of the titles? That's how Balor's putting it right now. That's how he convinced Nick Aldis, Adam Pearce. That's how he also convinced Raquel backstage, even when she was hesitating, like, hey, are we replacing Liv? And Balor's like, we're not replacing her. We just don't want you to lose the titles. Balor's smart, man. He knows what he's doing. Seeds are being planted. He even said that, hey, he himself had a shoulder injury, and it's hard to come back from that. I mean, he's speaking literally from experience, right? So I find this very, very interesting. Like, okay, what is... Actually, we know what Balor's doing here, man. And everybody's holding the gold in the Judgment Day again. Speaking of the women's tag titles, we also found out and learned that Evolution 2, Raquel and Roxanne are going to defend those titles against a team from Raw, a team from Smackdown, and a team from NXT. That is going to be really dope. I think just depending on who the teams are, that they should retain it, just to kind of keep the momentum on the Judgment Day, which I will admit, ladies and gentlemen, I thought the Judgment Day were done a while ago, and man, has WWE really done a great job of keeping these guys relevant and on TV very consistently. Let's see who their opponents are and challengers are going to be in the upcoming weeks, and maybe we even find out on Friday Night SmackDown. But let me pivot to another match, which I was really excited for. I wanted to see the Night of Champions, was Rusev versus Sheamus. Just two guys know each other really well and just beating the holy hell out of each other. You know what I'm saying? And man, was it a matchup. Let me tell you. Matchup was great. I thought they did a great job overall. As well as Rusev taking the W. However, I don't see this being their only fight. I said this about a couple weeks ago. Man, let's make this a best out of 7. Who cares, man? I'm sure the crowd is not going to get tired of it. Because, like, yo, we want to see Sheamus more in the ring. And Rusev's just came back. And me personally, I like both of them, right? So, let Sheamus get another best out of 7. We know what happened the last time he was in a best out of 7. And becoming a tag champ by the end of all that. Not saying that's what this is leading, but hey, you never know. Never know if they want to team back up all over again just from a while. I mean, they didn't face one-on-one for over a decade, I believe, before they did on Raw. So that was really impressive in itself too. Next, speaking of impressive, it was Gunther who came out, and he is, of course, he's not that impressed of Goldberg. He's even saying, like, you know, if he wanted to, he could beat him in 3 minutes or less, which I'm like, yo, that's just mad crazy to say. He's like, he's going to embarrass him. And Gunther's already looking forward. He already said, like, I'm looking forward to see who's next after Goldberg. After he takes care of the trash, he's going to look forward. I think, you know, I'm still going to say this. I think Gunther's overlooking Goldberg. I'm going to say it again. I do think Goldberg has a good shot of actually winning that damn title. And then maybe we see a Rollins cash in. I'm just saying, guys, like, it just makes sense to me. I would not be surprised at all if Goldberg took it. I'm telling you. Let's see how it goes down. However, as Gunther is talking about his next challenger, out comes Rollins. Rollins is telling him, like, yeah, I'm congratulating you, this and that. And he's just letting us know, letting him know he was out there, but he wasn't really out there for Cena at Night of Champions. He was out there to make sure that CM Punk did not win a world championship, as Rollins has said for the past couple of years that he's going to make sure that does not happen with Punk. So I find that very, very interesting that this is still developing, this is still going. Of course, who comes out? CM Punk. They brawl a little bit, you know, no talk all fighting. Rollins runs through the freaking crowd and he's like, yeah, see you later. Punk is heated. He bumps into Gunther and then shoves Gunther to the freaking ground. I thought that was interesting. Are we getting a CM Punk versus Gunther potential matchup for SummerSlam? Is that the tease right there? I feel like it could be. And again, let's just say if that is the tease, and Gunther is going to beat Goldberg at Saturday night's main event. Again, Rollins cash in. He literally said it. He's not going to let Punk become champion. He's not going to let him leave with the title. What if this is all part of the plan for Rollins as well? Now, before Rollins got to leave and enjoy the rest of his evening, who came through the crowd eating some popcorn? LA Knight. Yeah. And they brawl a little bit. Shoot, we see him brawl all the way to the back area. Backstage through the crowd area. And we're like, yo, that's pretty fire. Nick Aldis makes it official. It is LA Knight, yeah, versus Seth freaking Rollins at Saturday night's main event. Interesting. We're going to have Goldberg and Gunther there as well. Maybe we see Rollins more than once that night, ladies and gentlemen. I would not be surprised. Another matchup that I think is now going to be made. It at first, I didn't know how they're going to go about it. But it clearly seems like they're going with a triple threat match. Triple threat match I'm talking about is for Becky's Women's IC title between her, Bayley, and Lyra. The reason I say that, they actually ended the Bayley and Lyra match in a draw, which I found actually very interesting that they don't really call draws like that. So that was interesting. You know, they both brawled together. Clearly that friendship is thrown through the freaking window. They don't care anymore. And simply enough, we're going to get a triple threat match at the Evolution pay-per-view. I mean, I think it's set in stone and kind of simply written there. we see at some point that Karrion Kross is not done also with Sami Zayn, it seems like. Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross get into it. Zayn gets attacked by Kross in the back. Of course, he was supposed to team up with Penta against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Now, Zayn did come out. They did end up fighting. Of course, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed took the one in the main event. As they're about to take out Sami, brings out Mr. Yeet himself, Jey Uso, with a chair. Now, what's interesting is Paul Heyman was telling both his boys in the back that, hey, Rollins is currently gone, and he's already working on Plan B. What is Plan B? In my opinion, it's someone turning heel. It's either Sami, who he got on his side, or many weeks ago, when he whispered something to Cody, it could be that he got Cody to be convinced. And that's why Cody possibly is giving us hints that his babyface run is now switching into a heel run. I'm telling you, that could be the situation. That could be the move that they're trying to make and working very hard to kind of not make it obvious either. I can see it, man. It just makes sense to me. And that was basically the wrap of the special start time of Raw in Pittsburgh this week. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are going to be tuning in for Smackdown this Friday, I would probably turn off the podcast here, call it a day. Appreciate you guys. Don't forget to subscribe and like as always. However, for those of you who want to keep it going, spoiler alert, guys. Spoiler alert. Now we are getting into this week's Friday night Smackdown tapings. And man, did we start it off with a bang. We had Cody Rhodes come out. And then he's interrupted by Randy Orton. And who returned? That's right. Our boy, the Scottish psychopath, Drew McIntyre's back. And Drew McIntyre's trying to turn, Cody and Randy against each other. He's trying to play these mind games. They're not having it. Orton ends up freaking giving Drew an RKO. So, that was the end of that. Now, after Drew takes the RKO, big marquee matchup official, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton, the Viper, as Saturday night's main event. Honestly, good matchup. Excited for it. I'm glad we're going there. Screw it. Get Drew involved immediately. I love that. I think that's great. Now, we had another matchup that's not for Saturday night's main event, but for the Evolution 2 pay-per-view, where the women's tag titles, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, were going to be on the line. And the Secret Hervis needed someone to face. Nick Aldis approaches Charlotte saying, hey, why don't you take Alexa Bliss's offer, and I'll put you in the number one contenders matchup. Go ahead. And Charlotte, first reluctant, says, screw it. We'll take it. Her and Alexa, of course, beat the Secret Hervis, and they qualify for the 4-way women's tag team title match at Evolution 2. They even hugged briefly, which I found interesting because Charlotte's not been about this whole team up with Alexa. She says she doesn't need her, she doesn't want to make friends, and Alexa gotta stop. Alexa's just trying to tell her, hey, I'm not trying to be your friend, I'm just trying to, watch your back, you watch my back type of deal. I scratch yours, you scratch mine. Simple as that. I think Alexa and Charlotte have a very good chance, now that they got added to that match, of taking those titles off of Roxanne Raquel. And maybe we see a little bit of a rift happen because of that as well. I mean, why the frick not? You know what I'm saying? So, another matchup that I think Nick Aldis is kind of threw together. So they're trying to really just hype up the Wyatt Six right now. And Obviously, the SmackDown tag division's a little scared. They don't want the Y6 kind of take over. They don't want them to be tag champs, of course. So they called us, says, hey man, one member of each of you guys could take them on. So, of course, the Y6 beat them. And I think this is only going to establish them more and further the storyline like, hey, we are going to get a title matchup one way or another. So, question is when and where. I could see it being added at Saturday night's main event. I could see it being possibly at SummerSlam. I mean, it is a month away, but we really haven't had the tag titles at a PLE in a while. So can we please get any tag title match at this point on a goddamn PLE, please? That's all I want. Right now, obviously, they're hyping up Saturday night's main event, Evolution 2, and just, trying to put everybody on that. Speaking of Evolution 2, another matchup that got official was Tiffy. And so, obviously, Tiffy's facing Jade at SummerSlam, but she said to Jade, like, I gotta defend my title one time before I come face you. And that's against the Hall of Famer, Trish Stratus. Now, Trish Stratus and Tiffy, they teamed up not too long ago. And we see them facing off against each other for Tiffy's WWE Women's Championship at Evolution 2. Of course, I think Tiffy should retain, and she'll be facing Jade then at SummerSlam. But again, we're just trying to, get Evolution 2 hyped up, get it kind of set up, and get it good to go. Another tag team that's been kind of new is not only Fraxium, but who they faced. Andrade and Rey Fenix. I see that they're making up a tag team, and they're picking up wins, man. And I like Andrade. I like Rey Fenix as well. It's keeping both of them relevant. I'm cool with it. They defeated Fraxium, which I was like, oh, wow. That was kind of a, I will admit, I didn't kind of see that coming as much. But, okay, cool. I'll take it. Whatever. I'm not opposed, and I'm not against it whatsoever, actually. And just to go to the backstage, we see Priest, who I thought we were going to get a Priest and Fatu matchup. Clearly not now, because Fatu lost his U.S. title. I guess we get a regular one-on-one matchup. Why not? Screw it. But right now, it seems like Priest's in this situation between R-Truth and Aleister Black, where he's just trying to explain to Aleister Black, like, hey, man, R-Truth's just going through a bunch of shit, and, he's not trying to interrupt you. There's a matchup made next week between you and Truth. But I think the Aleister Black and Truth matchup is going to lead into Aleister Black and Priest. Maybe that's where they're pivoting and shifting to. I'm not opposed to it once again. I think Aleister Black is a great wrestler. He's one of my favorites. I wanted him to return from AEW, and I'm glad he's here. And I'm hoping that this keeps up the momentum, and we keep seeing him. Please do not make him get lost in the shuffle. Please. And so, 4th of July night, SmackDown ends with the main event, which is Jacob Fatu and Jey Uso. They defeated JC Mateo and Solo. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like Jimmy and Jacob Fatu have teamed up. But what happened, and this happened off there, so if any of you guys want to kind of check it out and stuff, it wasn't part of the recordings. Apparently, it was only for the live crowd itself. And that is that after the match, we see them attack Fatu. We see him kind of going after Jimmy, and I think they put him through a table, put Fatu through a table, or about to, and Jay comes out. We see, what's his face? Cody come out, and maybe this leading up to some type of tag team match against Solo's group and these guys' group. I can see it. I would not be surprised whatsoever. And looking forward to it, honestly. We know that the Usos were going to get together anyways. We know that was happening. So, it was just a matter of time of when. Now that Jay has been involved again, boom. Looks like Usos are coming back together. And we'll see them sooner rather than later. And if Jay is going to keep going after Rollins' group, he's going to need some backup, as we know. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to wrap up this week's episode of Pipebomb Sessions. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed as usual. Don't forget to subscribe and like. And I want everybody to have a happy 4th of July and enjoy the weekend, guys. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time.